All right, so in this video, guys, I'm going to take you into how to time your oceanfront condo purchase in our market so that you can maximize profitability. You can avoid getting hunkered down with 90 days worth of rentals from the current or previous property manager. You can remodel that unit just in time for the peak season. You can knock out your cost segregation study for all you high income earners that want some serious tax write-offs so you can get a whopping tax return like Yvonne, who made $34,000 tax return her first year because of her cost segregation study. Guys, this video is going to be chocked full of valuable information. I'm going to share a personal client interaction from Yvonne so that you can understand how best to time your purchase right here in Myrtle Beach Oceanfront condos. Let's get into the video now. You'd like to invest in an oceanfront condo at a beach resort. I'd like to show you how they make profit and break down all their expenses so you understand how they operate, how they appreciate over time, and how to choose the right property manager for your goals. I'd also like to let you know what your HOA includes, how the location best services the tourist booking your unit, how your tourist can navigate the area to the best attractions, restaurants, and local events. I'd like to give you a market report on the resort that you're checking out today so that you make savvy investment decisions. All right, so we're gonna read through an email together so that you can understand a top performer in our market, Yvonne. She's amazing, she's a client of mine. She said, "Thank you for checking in, Brandon. Since I was not able to use your Myrtle Beach Dream Home website, I meanwhile use this site. It has a similar search engine. I recently was transitioning to a different website, but I ended up staying with my current people. Anyways, that's what that's about. Now, I am aiming to buy in autumn, making sure I can remodel in winter and have the resort only eat their 40% commission from my winter gross rental income rather than spring-summer gross rental income." Very, very smart move on her part. She's timing it so that the 90 days worth of rentals that she has to honor on the books are during the slower season months, so she doesn't lose during the summer and the high peak season months. She stands to gain more money by timing it this way. This means I would need to self-manage by March 1st, 2026 latest, close before December 1st, 2025, allowing for a 3-month transition, and sign contract before November 1st. Ideal scenario. Myrtle Beach is still my primary search area. North Myrtle Beach continues to be off the list until decisions are made on short-term rental regulations. For all of you guys that don't know this, short-term rental regulations are kind of up in the air right now in North Myrtle Beach, and they're trying to figure out whether or not they're going to institute a policy that you have to have a local person within 30 minutes that can respond to any kind of calls or issues. Got a handful of things going on. That is not currently in Myrtle Beach, but it is in North Myrtle Beach. Now, do I think it's going to stop investors? Absolutely not. Anyways, and there is some talk of having to use a local property management company, but more on that later. If you have questions, call me 843-360-1737. She says here, I also still prefer 100% oceanfront, not convinced on ocean view. I could not agree with her more. Oceanfront is definitely the way to go in the Myrtle Beach market. These units, the oceanfronts, generally command a premium. Now, there is a caveat here, except for at Dunes Village. Dunes Village has so much demand in our market that the ocean view units crush it, and they outperform many of the oceanfront units at other resorts, even though they don't have the amazing view because of that indoor water park. The resort has a strategic competitive advantage when compared to all other resorts in our market. Dunes Village is infamous for having some of the highest gross rental income numbers in our market period, and year over year demand is through the roof. Almost all of their units, if not all of their units, make stellar gross rental income. It's definitely a place where you want to invest. Hands down, I tell clients to invest there all the time. Your money is definitely safe there. Now, it is going to cost you more to invest in Dunes Village, so it's going to eat into your profits, but if you don't want as much risk, it's a great place to go. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because this is the fastest growing area out of the 150 most populated areas in the entire United States for the last 3 years in a row, according to U.S. News and World Report. This helps to insulate our market from many of the ups and downs that the rest of our nation's real estate market experiences. This can help you have a more stable rental property. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because they have a tremendous upside when compared to money market accounts and the stock market, due to the appreciation they earn and the potential of higher annual yields through their gross rental income when compared to these other investments. Money market accounts and the stock market don't have the upside of added appreciation. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because while our prices have risen and have held their value, we're also much cheaper than other places like Florida. Where else can you go and find an oceanfront condo for as little as $100,000? If you're getting into the real estate game or expanding your current portfolio, the bang for your buck is sitting right on the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina oceanfront. She sent me a second email as we were continuing this conversation, and she included a nice little spreadsheet graph, which I super enjoy, and I want you to see it on the screen because I think it can be very, very helpful, and it will visually represent how this works a little bit better. So hopefully you understand, because the point of this channel is so that you're the savviest investor in oceanfront condos on the market. All right, so as you can see on the screen, September she's going to be searching for properties. October we got the first half and the second half. She's going to put that property under contract. She's going to start the remodel contracting the second part of October. She's going to be most likely having me get her some contractors, finding her own contractors, interviewing people, talking, getting price quotes and stuff like that. She plans on closing that first part of November. Second part of November is Thanksgiving, and that's when that 90 days worth of rentals that she has to honor on the books is going to start with the previous property management company, according to South Carolina state law. For 90 days post-closing, you have to honor all the rentals on the books, and the previous property management company is going to be handling those 90 days worth of rentals. Now, Thanksgiving is that second part of November. She starts her 90 days, and that's going to carry on in through January. Now, her remodel is going to start the first part of December. Staging is going to be the second part of December, and then she's going to start the very first month of January listing it on Airbnb. Now, from November, the second half of November, all the way through January, she's going to be performing her cost segregation study. This is where she's taking advantage of those tax write-offs. Guys, this is an excellent, excellent setup for newcomers or even for seasoned investors. Anybody that wants to maximize their gross rental income based on timing the market purchase right, this is when to buy. Now, let me throw out a quick caveat, a very quick caveat. You will most likely pay a premium in the off-season months for your oceanfront condo. And I know you're asking me, like you're thinking why? All right, here's how it works. Here's how the market dynamics or the economic dynamics work. April through September is peak season in our market. This is when everybody and their brother puts their oceanfront condo on the market. It's just how it works. Because there's an influx in supply, people start competing over price, and price starts dropping. Whenever supply increases, the price goes down. Now, in the winter months, everybody takes their properties off the market. There's very few sellers, a lot less sellers on the market in those winter months. Because there's less sellers, there's less inventory on the market, less product on the market, price goes up. Sellers don't have to compete with their neighbors as much, so they keep their prices higher. So if you follow this strategy, you're probably going to pay more, a premium or more, for your property, and you're more likely to find sellers that are not going to negotiate with you unless they're in a pinch and they got to sell it before the end of the year or something like that. But for the most part, you're going to pay a premium for it in those winter months. So this might make you hesitate on using such a strategy. I don't know. It's something for you to think about and consider. Or, you purchase during the summer months and you get the best deal up front. You save some money that way. You got to kind of look at basically how many rentals are going to be on the books during those summer months versus how much money You can save off the purchase price, kind of compare that a little bit. The question is, how much money am I going to save off the purchase price? $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe $50,000, depending upon the size of the property, of course, the location, stuff like that. Buying it in the on-season months versus how much money is currently on the books during those on-season months that I'm going to lose out on. You want to compare those two numbers. Basically, can I save $30,000 because I can buy it so much cheaper because there's so much competition on the market during the summer months? And is that $30,000 going to be more or less than the 40% of the current bookings on the market during the summer months, or the 30%, or the 25% of the current bookings that are on the market during those summer months when I purchase, and kind of weigh it out? Well, what makes more sense? Do I need to shift my whole strategy to, buying in the wintertime? That way I'm not giving up the, however X amount of dollars during those summer months. Or if I can buy it cheaper in the summer months, maybe it still is a smarter move. And it's going to be different depending upon the oceanfront condo. If we're talking, a $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 condo, you're more likely to get a larger amount off on the asking price, in my opinion, as opposed to a cheaper condo. They're not really going to move very much on the price as much in general, in my experience, in my opinion. So again, there's a lot that goes into it. It's something that we need to look at. And as your agent, I'll help you work through that and compare those kinds of numbers to make sure you're timing the market just right. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because you can enjoy and increase the passive income of your oceanfront condo through the 20 to 22 million tourists that visit the #2 vacation destination on the East Coast each year. Not only can you enjoy the equity paid for by visiting tourists, but you can also anticipate the over 100% appreciation experience at many of the oceanfront resorts in our market during the recent decade. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because you can depreciate them, reducing your overall tax burden, keeping more money for you and your loved ones, and ensuring unnecessary taxes aren't paid. Guys, I get calls, emails, and texts every day from investors just like you, from regular Joes to plastic surgeons to executives, you name it. I'm getting calls, text messages, and emails all the time. If you're interested in investing in an oceanfront condo in our market, give me a call. It's 843-360-1737. I want to get to know you. You guys are my favorite people to work with. I enjoy working with you two people. They're so cool. I meet people from all over the place, out of the state, cash out refis. They're doing all kinds of stuff. 401k loans, 1031 like-kind exchanges. No matter where you are in the process or what you're interested in doing, I want to work on your deal. I love doing deals. It's a lot of fun. It's a blast. And meeting you guys and working with you obviously blesses me. It's super cool. So don't be a stranger. 843-360-1737. And don't spend 2 years thinking about this. Please. When investors buy, they always say, I wish I would have started earlier. I wish I would have started sooner. Don't let that be your story.